again from the Nuremberg War Crime Tribunal's documents, the dependency of the Nazi Wehrmacht on IG Farben's products. 100% of the rubber used by the Wehrmacht came from IG Farben. 100% of the oil used. 100% of the blood serum. And so on and so forth. Any questions? We can summarize that chapter of history, especially of Polish history, as follows. World War II was the second attempt of the chemical drug cartel at the military conquest of the world to create a one single planet-wide market. More than 60 million soldiers and civilians from more than 50 countries died in the cartel's second attempt at this conquest. And again, the knowledge, the analysis that you hear tonight from us was unfortunately not available at that time. So mankind had to go through this experience. There was a trial, as we heard. 24 executives of IG Farben were tried in Nuremberg for crimes against humanity. We saw Fritz Demir sentenced for genocide, slavery, plundering and other war crimes. Imagine the head of Bayer, at that time the largest pharmaceutical company in the world, a company parading as the savior of mankind with new medicines, making billions with that image, and its head sentenced for mass murder. So what happened after 1945? Well, we all know that the political and military henchmen of this coalition were sentenced to death or long-term prison sentences in Nuremberg. What we don't know is that the economic masterminds of World War II, the executives of IG Farben, were soon reinstated as industry captains in post-war Germany. The shares of IG Farben, the main booty of World War II, went under the control of Rockefeller, the Rockefeller Investment Group in the US, and the Rothschild Group in the UK and France. If we look back, there are things to be learned. One of them, perhaps the most important lesson, comes from the people who were there. Many of them are here tonight. You will hear Jerzy Ulatowski speak to us tonight. They were there. They lived in the middle of this kingdom of evil, or hell on earth. Some of them have told me that since that time they have asked themselves, why me? Why did millions of people die in concentration camps and not me? Why am I alive? Chapter 6. The third attempt at global conquest. That part you've heard quite a bit about from Paul. The third attempt is again an effort at world conquest, this time via a new platform in the Brussels EU. In 1956, war criminal Fritz Demir is reinstated as chairman of Bayer. The very same year, 11 years after the end of World War II, Nazi lawyer Walter Holstein is appointed chief political architect of the Brussels EU. Holstein was not just an innocent lawyer. He participated in 1938 in the negotiations in Rome Hitler and Mussolini met in May 1938 in Rome to divide Europe and to make the final tuning for the World War II. 1 month later, a group of lawyers from Italy and from Germany met to define the legal details of this war result. Who was representing the German Reich? This man. Rome, 1938. Where were the first treaties of the European Union signed? 18 years later in the same city. And even the structure of the Brussels EU headquarters resembles the swastika symbol that Hallstein proudly carried on his vest. If you need to picture the undemocratic nature of Brussels, look at this picture. There are 54,000 paid technocrats, unelected by the people, supporting the EU Commission, paid. These are their servants. They do nothing else than serving the interests of the cartel. And here, this little thing down here is the European Parliament with 736 members. Usually they are there for 4 years, and then someone else is coming. But these guys are staying. So on every member of the European Parliament, there are 80 cartel lobbyists making sure that these members of the EU Parliament do what they want. The EU Commission is the political executive, the government of Europe. But you don't vote for it, as we already heard. There's a wall between democracy in Europe and what really happens. This Parliament here is nothing else than a fig leaf. It has no rights to make laws, to initiate them. It's called a fig leaf to hide dictatorship. So who today are the political stakeholders of the oil and drug cartel in Europe? These two. And these are the corporations that made them, that brought them into these positions. And these are the tools they operate in. Does the Polish president or prime minister influence the decisions taken at the European level? Does the Swedish prime minister have any say in that? The one from Slovenia or Latvia? Of course not. These are the two guys that determine what's happening. And the key assignment of these political stakeholders by the interest groups that made them are in 3 areas. Health, the promotion of patented pharmaceutical drugs. Energy, the promotion of petrochemicals. And food, the promotion of genetically modified and patentable substances. The consequences are unimaginable. Cardiovascular diseases, cancer, other diseases are rising if the knowledge that we carry, that we bring to the world, is being suppressed.